So, this is my third time in Prague. I really love it here, so thanks Marina for inviting me. The topic, my topic for today is how Croatian people buy online. But I would like to talk about something else instead. I mean, we will talk about numbers, but I would like to start with something that I think is very important, not only in Croatian market, but on any market. And that is trust. So, the topic of our conference 2 years ago when the epidemic started was always about trust. And why should you trust me when I'm talking about this? Well, I will try to share my experience as the founder of president of eCommerce Croatia Association, my experience as a consultant for big names, and as a CEO of a small business. It's a web shop that sells camping gear. But before we get into the presentation, I would like to share one story with you. When I started doing this 10 years ago, I was a journalist before. I was listening to a presentation of one Slovenian psychology professor. And he told me you need 3 things to buy from any person. First thing is you need to believe that he is doing a good job at what he is selling you. Second, you need to believe that he will actually give you the service that he is selling you. And the third one is you need to like him. You need to have a sympathy for him. So I'm counting on the third factor because my English presentation skills are not the best for you. For all the other ones that need a little more convincing, I'll talk about a bit about what we do in Croatia. So our association has 500 members, Webshop members. We have 2,000 members altogether. I don't understand a lot of Czech, but I heard from Marina's speech that she told you that we have around 3,000 web shops in Croatia. It's hard to say how many there are altogether, but we can say that there is like 3,000 to 4,000 of them that are using some kind of a payment gateway. So we consider them a serious web shop. So that's probably like 10 times less than in Czech, right? So that means we are a really small market in e-commerce at the moment, but we are the growth factor is really big. So this is a big opportunity for you guys to come, and because the competition is not so big at the moment. Also, one of our biggest mission is to increase trust in e-commerce, not only in Croatia but in all the region. So what we started doing was 4 years ago, we started distributing Safe Shop Trustmark. I don't know if you heard about it, but the guys from Poland, I think also from Czech, were in this story. How can I tell you about? It's about Global Trustmark. The idea was to found a Global Trustmark that would be recognized around the world. Unfortunately, that thing didn't catch on, so we decided to make our own Trustmark. Why is Trustmark important? Because when you are an online buyer and you don't have much experience buying online, and you have some trust issues with, as you will see from our research, you have some trust issues with giving your credit card to somebody. And when you see a big discount, you get like very, you want to buy it impulsively. You don't think much. And then people get scammed because they get greedy. And this is the main function of the Trustmark. When you see it, you know that this shop is okay. So that's why we decided to make our own Trustmark, and at the moment we have 100 web shops that are certified. And we started only 6 months ago. Our goal is to certify all web shops in Croatia and hopefully in our region. We have more than 10,000 followers online. The biggest advantage of our story is the community. We have a Facebook group which is really strong. So me as a consultant and my speakers, because we are organizing conferences, e-commerce academy, actually we are doing this, we call it meetups in Croatia every month that are presentations for e-commerce sellers. We don't know everything, but people from the community, they really do. Because if you have 10,000 e-commerce professionals in one community, they know everything. At least they have experience like nobody else can have. So this is the main goal of what we are doing as an association. We are helping online sellers start webshop and sell more. So, before we go into the numbers, I would like to ask you if you know who this lady is. You don't know it? You don't know Miss Olga from Croatia? Miss Olga is a lady from Zagreb, which gave us an interview for our web portal a few years ago, and she told us one interesting fact. She told us that she's buying online 2 times a month. And at that time, she was 85 years old. That's pretty impressive, right? So, this was before the epidemic. She was buying food online because she found it convenient. She used Consume. This is one of our biggest FMCG retailer in Croatia that also has a web shop. But you know what was the problem with Miss Olga? She buys only on big brand names. When she buys in Croatia, she buys on Consume. For everything else, there is Amazon. But there is so many excellent small brands that are selling online. So my question to you is, can you compete with them? And how can you compete with them? I'll show you my example. An example of the web shop I created last year as a hobby project to see if this works. So what we did, my friend and I decided to start a shop selling survival kit equipment. This is actually a camping gear equipment you can take with you when you go camping, but also preppers like it. How do I know it? Because when the war started in Ukraine, we sold out everything. This was not our goal. Our goal was, to be honest, to sell something that we believe in and to show people that you can build a brand using only 6 factors. First one is show your face. So on these pictures you can see me in the nature and my friend with the tongue sticking out. He's a famous copywriter in Croatia, and as I told you, I'm organizing these events about e-commerce. We also love to spend time in the nature. So we introduced our faces. This is the first factor to gain trust in our buyers. They see that there are real persons with first and last name behind this project. Second, we were really transparent with terms of service. I know you cannot see it here, but we show this everywhere. Like on this About Us page, on our homepage, on our terms and service page, on our checkout, everywhere. You can see that we offer free shipping in Croatia, that we have all the possible payment methods available in Croatia, even cryptocurrency, that we offer 100% risk-free shopping, that we have a Trustmark, and that we have a contact number that you can call us at any time. Third factor, which is very important, is company identity. Because if you want to check if the web shop is real or not, first thing I advise to buyers is Google it. Because if the web shop doesn't have any social proof, then it means 2 things. First, it's a new web shop, or second, it's a scam web shop. So how can you know that? If it doesn't have any information that I listed here, you will be looking for reviews. That's why we offer a free survival kit metal card for every person that leaves a review for us. So after they buy something, we have a main product that is consisted of 60 products like this. And when they buy it, our email automation system sends them a message after they got it. Please leave us a review and we'll send you one more metal card for free. This is actually a multi-tool card that you can have in your wallet or mobile phone, and it has screwdrivers, bottle openers, and stuff like that. It's something convenient. It's something not expensive for us to ship to our customers, and they love it. So it costs me like under €1 to get one customer review. Does that make sense to you? You will see from our research that it makes sense a lot to Croatian buyers. And I believe that anywhere in the world is the same. And also, I will give this card to anyone from the audience who asks a first question after my lecture. And in the end, as I was telling you, we are showing our Trustmark. Trustmark is actually a pretty simple thing. It's a stamp that shows people, online buyers, that this web shop was certified by independent party. This independent party, in our case, is our association. So, what are we doing for these web shops? We created a simple e-commerce codex that follows 10 basic rules. You can see all the rules on this link, but you should use a Google Translate probably. We will not go through through every of them now, but I'll try to explain it to you how that works. So what we are checking is if the company behind the web shop is real, if the reviews are real, if the prices are transparent, if the payment methods are safe. What does that mean? I mean, you can offer payment by credit card, but if you don't offer at least cash on delivery or PayPal, that is like at least one payment method that is independent of the seller, then you are not considered 100% safe. But anyhow, I think our rules are pretty simple, and all our members basically get this certificate because web shops in Croatia are really safe. They are not trying to cheat people. The ones that are trying to cheat people are the ones that are opening like before Black Friday or something like that, and they just want to take your money or credit card information. And what I want to talk to you about today also is the research we made among our online buyers. Every year we ask our webshop members, some of big names, maybe you know them, like Emeceta, Lesnina, Bazar, Sport Vision, Mikronis, Centar Tehnike, and so on. We ask them to send our survey to their newsletter subscribers, and they're happy to do it because they also want to increase trust in online sales. And also, they get these results for free. So we don't sell this. We are doing everything for the community. What we do is we ask 20 questions, and we gathered over 4,000 questionnaires in only 2 days. And I will share the most interesting information from this survey that we made. We asked them what gender. First, we gathered demographics. What is interesting here is, what do you think that, who buys more, men or women? Women. No. You can see that 60% of the respondents were women, but that was because most of our web shops were from categories that women prefer, fashion and home and garden. But if we compare that with the information about how often they buy, it's pretty like similar, you know. Also, we had the most respondents from the age group of 45 to 64. But do you know who buys the more? Who buys more? The most? The younger ones, from 25 to 44. They buy the most. And the least? Who buys the least online? The older ones. So over 65. But what is interesting here is that the guys from this generation actually had the biggest increase in online shopping. So during lockdown, this category, over 65, shopped more than before. And why is that? Because they had no choice. They had to buy online because the stores were closed. And what happened, what we see happened in Croatia, also happened, I believe, in your countries, is people who bought something online for the first time continued shopping online. So this is a change that is irreversible. That's a very good thing that lockdowns, COVID brought us. Not only Croatia, but whole world. And one more interesting fact is, when we asked them where are they from, the respondents, they told us most of them were from Zagreb, which is the capital of Croatia. But do you know who buys the most often? The guys from the coastal area, from the seas, from Dalmatia, from islands. And why is that? Because also they don't have so many choices. They don't have so many brick and mortar stores. Income. Of course, people with more money buy more often. But what is interesting is that they buy more impulsively. So they are making more impulsive choices. And when we ask them about education, we see that the people from high degree and doctorate buy most. But also, interesting is that even the ones with only middle school buy like 20% of them are buying several times a week. So what does that mean? That means that if you get people to buy something once and you gain their trust, they will continue to buy it online. And that's a fun fact that 22% of all the respondents actually buy a few times a week. And 38% of them are buying once a month. That's a pretty huge numbers, right? So what we need to do as e-commerce retailers, we need to gain their trust only the first time. And you will see what is the most important for them in the following slides. Contrary to popular belief, when we asked them, do they primarily shop on domestic or foreign web shops, they told us that most of them, or half of them, prefer domestic web shops. Like 41% of them don't care really. They just want to get what they need. And only 9% of them buy exclusively on foreign web shops. And what I want to tell you is that from last year, I think this number will even be, more people will buy on domestic web shops. And why is that? Because, or at least in European Union. And because European Union last year removed the taxes legislations, which means that all the merch products that you bought from China, you didn't have to pay customs or taxes on them. So you, as an online buyer, you don't care if you buy from China, from Croatia, from Czech, or from any EU country. Today, when you order something from China, you have to wait for shipment, you have to pay for shipping, and you have to pay for taxes. So this is actually a policy that goes it's a positive thing for domestic sellers. But that doesn't mean only that cross-border selling is not going to work. Cross-border selling is actually going to be more popular, but in the EU region. We have no limits. The only limit that we have at the moment is actually logistic costs. So when these things become more available to people, I think the cross-border will explode. And I don't understand a lot of Czech, but as I could see, the most popular categories in your countries are also the most popular categories in our countries. So fashion, home and garden, electronic devices, of course, are the most popular categories. But what is interesting here is to see that we have a few categories that before the COVID were not popular at all. And this is food, pet food, video games, and gaming equipment. And this is because people had no choice. The shops were closed, they started buying food online. Everything was closed, so people started playing games online. And that's all great, but as you can see, it still consists only 3% of online shopping altogether. This is a very interesting fact. When you ask them which payment method do they prefer, they tell you it's credit card. 46% of them, they tell you they want to pay by credit card. You know how many people pay with credit card in Croatia? Online. 30%. Most of them are paying cash on delivery. And why is that? How do we know that? We asked the e-commerce stores. Tell us, is this true? Do people really use credit cards? No. They told us that 70% of them prefer cash on delivery. Why is that? Because they are scared their data will be stolen. Somebody will steal their credit card. And this is the big issue we have, I think, mostly in our region, but probably in your region as well. It's a lack of trust. Again, only 70% of people say they don't want to search for their credit card. So make it easier for them, if you can, to pay with cards. 12% tell us that 3D secure authentication bothers them. Okay, that may be the case, but that is something that is increasing trust. What we can do is also make this simpler. Okay, 9% tell us something else, and only 2% of them tell us they don't know how to use a card to shop online. But all these reasons tell us that we need to do more education. Because, I mean, it's really funny to me that people are not afraid to give their card to the waiter, and he can take a photo of their credit card and buy anything online, but they are afraid to enter the card details online on payment gateways that are pretty much very secure. So the key is education. When we ask them which delivery method they prefer, this is interesting because I think in your country they have more preference to pick up points, right? In our country, only 6% of them tell us that they would like to pick up their goods somewhere. Most of them prefer that delivery man gets the products by the door. And this sounds fine, but it's a big problem for our logistic companies because, as you probably know, the shape of Croatia is really interesting. And this means the shipping is expensive. So if we can get people to educate more about pickup points, the shipment will be cheaper. And why is this important? Well, because 56% of people think that 4 euros is acceptable charge for shipment for products under 2 kilograms. So they don't want to pay more than 4 euros to deliver the goods to their door, and logistic area says that this is impossible because shipping is expensive. And what we tell our retailers is, if you want to increase your conversion rates on your stores, you should charge less for shipping. They are losing money on shipping just to increase the shipping, just to increase the conversion rates. If more people would like to pick up goods on pickup points, that would not be the case. And one more interesting fact is that when we ask them, how long would you be willing to wait for your delivery? Only like 1% and less than 1% says that they expect delivery same day. Most of them are fine with 2 to 5 days delivery. From my own experience, most of Croatian sellers deliver the goods in like 24 hours. But people say it's okay to wait. They don't mind waiting if you are transparent about everything. Sure, Glovo and similar apps have increased same-day delivery for some goods, but not for everything. If you are ordering electronics, home garden, even fashion items, people are willing to wait. What is more important to them than waiting time is getting a full cone before delivery. Maybe it's not more important, but it's almost as important. So, everybody who is doing any kind of delivery to online buyers has to know one thing. If the delivery goes wrong, online buyer will not be angry at the logistic company. He will be angry at the company that sold him the goods. So when you are, as a retailer, choosing who to work with, which logistic company to work with, be sure they have a good phone call before delivery policy, because they find it very important. When you ask them how they get information about products, I think the story is the same like everywhere in the world. Most of them use web search. That's why SEO, search engine optimization, is very important for every web store. Second criteria is how many reviews you got. It's becoming more and more important every year. I was managing a big online store 7 years ago, and what I did was I asked all my customers to leave us a Google Plus review. It was the time when Google Plus was still a thing. And what happened is we got 100 reviews overnight. It was the time where nobody was collecting reviews. And what happened was the Google increased our search engine ratings. So Google knew that this thing is important. Google knows still. But you as a retailer have to know that people consider this very valuable. Good reviews are very important. And you will see it from the next slide. 20% of them get info on comparison sites. Okay, maybe people who go on comparison sites are searching for a cheaper product, and you don't want to be seen as a brand that competes with cheaper prices. But what is interesting is that not every buyer buys from the cheapest store. They go to comparison site, but they will not buy from the cheapest one. They will buy from the cheapest one that they trust. So if they have like 3 cheaper stores that they don't know, that are not branded, that don't have reviews, they don't have Trustmark, they will choose the name that they trust. And of course, 12% of them get recommendations by friends and family. And 2 more slides only, which are very important. We ask them why they give up on purchasing. As you can see, 24% tell us that it was because of negative reviews. If you get a negative review on Google, Facebook, or I don't know, any system you are using, don't ignore it. Don't delete it. You probably cannot delete it, but answer. Take responsibility for what happened. People will know. People want to see that the brand cares for them. 24% are searching for a better price. So there's not much you can do here if you don't want to compete in this region. But what is very interesting to me is that 23% of them are giving up on purchasing because of non-transparent or hidden delivery return info. What does that mean? That means that sellers are hiding information about costs of delivery, about how do you say that? You have to return, you have the right to return the goods in 14 days, in 30 days. You should not hide this. You should put this on homepage. You should put this on product page. You should put this in checkout, because this is the information that increases the conversions on all web shops. Only 18% are giving up because of complicated website, and only 11% because they want to see the product in real life. So basically, the easiest fix you can do to increase your conversions is to be more transparent, to gain more trust. And what is most important to them when shopping on a web shop for the first time, it's not even, it's preferred payment method. If you don't have the payment method they prefer, for example, if you don't want to have PayPal because they have high provisions, you are losing customers. Because if I, as a buyer, want to pay with PayPal and you don't offer me PayPal, I will go to your competition. The same is like for cryptocurrencies, credit cards, any kind of payment. I suggest you have it all. There is nothing to lose there. The second criteria and the third criteria are you have to have some kind of a safety certificate. This doesn't have to be Trustmark. This can be any kind of logo that represents trust. Even logotype of MasterCard, Visa, and something like that, or your brands you are working with, like Nike, Adidas, stuff like that, can help you gain their trust. But also there is positive reviews. If you don't have positive reviews, maybe you are a big brand, but how do I know that everything will be all right if I need to return the shipment and stuff like that? And only 7% of them care about that you have a brick and mortar store, that you can see the goods before buying online. So what I want to tell you is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how big or small you are. What matters to customers is that they can trust you. Because in the end, the most important thing for them is to be satisfied with your service. Not with the product, not with your offers, not with your loyalty card. Yes, it's all important, but the most important thing is they have to be satisfied with the service. If they trust you for the first time, they will continue shopping. And to conclude, we can see that Croatian people really buy often online, but they make their purchase decision based on reviews. Most Croatian shops for clothes, household equipment, and tech. They say they prefer credit card for payment, but they still pay cash on delivery because they don't trust you enough. If you don't offer preferred payment methods, if you don't have positive reviews and Trustmark, you are losing customers. And excluding the price, shoppers often give up on the purchase because of hidden information or negative web shop reviews. So think about if you are a small brand or even a big brand, think about two things. Show them that you are safe to shop it's safe to shop on your web shop, and gather reviews. That would be my advice for today. If you have any questions, I'm here.